Hi, hello, and welcome to the first show here on the Sherlock Reel. We are here there today, and we are going to be talking about 80s action movies. We're going to find out which is the best one. We have a bracket ready to go, 32 films, and I have a slew of guests here who's going to help me decide which one is the best. Why don't we start there with Rob? Just to introduce yourself there.
Hey, I'm Robert Sherlock, big movie fan, dying to go do all this. Should be good fun. Go ahead.
Perfect.
All right. Sorry, JD here. Big fan of movies and yeah, glad to talk about 80s action films. One of my favorite genres.
Yeah, Ted from Retrotainment Podcast on the Dynamo Podcast Network here. Huge film fan. So delighted to have got a chance to go back and watch all these classic films.
Yeah, and I am Jordan, Movie Hero Anderson. The Movie Hero stands for my YouTube channel. It's a movie hero. We just got done this morning doing a ranking of the entire Saturday Night Live cast. So that's why I got my Chris Farley here. But but yeah, I'm excited for this. Should be fun.
Perfect. So we're not going to mess around here, and we're going to straight into the big one. In my opinion, anyway, here for actually, we're starting off with Die Hard up against They Live.
Oh God.
Right.
Yeah, there we go. We have John McClane against Roddy Piper. How do we do this? Where are you voting?
Die Hard has to be the winner.
I'm gonna give Die Hard my first vote.
Yeah, Die Hard it's Die
I
Hard.
gotta vote for Die Hard. I've actually never seen They Live. I know they have that iconic line. I'm here to kick ass and chew bubble gum, but I'm all out of bubble gum. I mean, that's the only thing I know about They Live, and I know he puts on his little goggles and can see all the dead people. But I mean, gotta go with
they're
Die
not
Hard.
dead
Die Hard
people. They're the whole alien invasion.
Oh, alien!
It's already happened.
That's what it is.
Yeah, it's an alien invasion. It's a pretty cool movie, actually. The story is very good, but up against Die Hard, it hasn't got a hope.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think if it had come up against something else, maybe it would have a good shot. But Die Hard's too big of a heavy hitter to go out round one. No chance it's getting knocked out here.
I mean, it's Die Hard.
Movie.
It's John McClane, like in. I mean, the MacGruber. I can't. It has to be Die Hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm happy with that. With a 5-0, Die Hard goes through. Quite easy. That. This one might be a bit more contentious. We're going to go with Full Metal Jacket against RoboCop.
Ooh. Interesting.
Yeah, that's one that you're might have to think about.
I don't have to. I'll start with this one. I don't have to think about it too much because unfortunately, one of them I haven't seen, but the other one I have, and I really, really like, and it's so RoboCop would get my vote. Yeah, I love that movie. Yeah.
I think
thank
Full
you,
Metal Jacket.
Andrew, for throwing in your little vote there as well for Full Metal Jacket. I'm going to have to go with you as well. So Full Metal Jacket and RoboCop, one vote each.
I think Full Metal Jacket is definitely the better movie.
Anyone else?
But RoboCop will get my vote.
I think I gotta go with Full Metal Jacket because I saw RoboCop like one time right when it first came out, but I've seen Full Metal Jacket multiple times. I have friends who've gone into the Marine Corps, and that's always a movie that pretty much every single one of them have watched before they went in. I mean, I don't know how accurate of a depiction it is, but I love R. Lee Emery, the drill sergeant in that, and just I mean, yeah, there's just a lot to love from Full Metal Jacket. So I mean, it's one of Stanley Kubrick's best films, I think. So yeah, I got to go with Full Metal Jacket.
Yep. So it comes down to yourself, Ted. You get the deciding vote.
Big vote for me. I love.
It is indeed.
I love RoboCop, and I hate to see it go out in the first round, but I can't overlook Full Metal Jacket here. As Jordan said, the drill sergeant alone would put this film through for me. I can't put that out in the first round, so Full Metal Jacket from me.
Wow, RoboCop going out round 1. That's a big one to go out. Right.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
We move on. That's contentious, definitely. We have another one here. We have Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade up against Bloodsport.
I mean, for me, it's quite easy. It's Last Crusade. I mean, I'm sorry, but like Sean Connery is Henry Jones Sr. and like Harrison Ford, their relationship, they're like, even that, like, I love how, like, rewatching it, you see the opening scene and it's like initially from like, it's like this idyllic perspective, and like, you're seeing here when you see Henry Jones for the first time, it's from Indiana Jones' point of view, and he's like just this terrible guy. But when you actually see him in present day, there's like no like lens behind it. There's no like I really love that movie. Like it's really complicated, and like I just love that relationship.
What I will say on this one is I prefer Indiana Jones Last Crusade as a film, but if we're talking as an 80s action film, there's not much better than Bloodsport. My vote will have to go to that.
Wow.
Just pure action. And as I said, I prefer Indiana Jones as a movie, but if I'm just looking for an 80s action movie, it's Bloodsport.
Yeah, Bloodsport is good fun, great action, great fight scenes. Van Damme is brilliant, but I don't want to see Indy going out in this round. No, I'd have to go with Indy for this one.
It's just so good. It's just so good.
It's great. It's the best. It's the best Indiana Jones movie.
Yes,
I think anyway.
It is by far.
Yeah,
like,
can't let that go.
not by far, but like it's my favorite of the three. Because I'm not gonna even recognize the fourth one. Okay.
Don't be like that.
Yeah, for me,
so what? It was Aliens.
Yeah, right. Yeah, for me, I got to go with the Last Crusade. I think that for me, that the Last Crusade and Raiders of the Lost Ark are kind of neck and neck as far as my favorite Indiana Jones movie. But I've seen Bloodsport. My wife actually showed it to me. Usually, I'm the one showing her all the movies, but this one she actually showed to me. And I mean, it was fun, but I thought that it was kind of cheesy. It definitely doesn't really hold up very well. So I got to go with The Last Crusade, I think.
So Bloodsport is going out. Ted, your vote really doesn't count onto this one, but what would you have voted for anyway?
Yeah, my vote doesn't count, but like Indiana Jones is the better film. But I think, as Jordan said, like Bloodsport is real cheesy and stuff, but that's kind of what 80s action films are. They're real cheesy and just action. So I probably would have given it to Bloodsport, but as you said, it doesn't really matter. So just to stay on the winner's side, I'll give it to Indiana Jones. That way my choice goes through.
There you go.
Is anyone else's technology just going haywire there?
No, mine's currently okay.
Or is that just
mine?
mine?
Mine's okay.
Yeah, mine's okay, but I can.
Okay.
See,
we're going to start there now. Ted, I'm going to get you to vote first, Ted.
Okay.
We have Batman 1989 up against Lethal Weapon 2.
Lethal Weapon 2 is probably a better film, but I can't overlook that Batman. I think just Nicholson is just too strong in it as the Joker, so I'm going to give my vote to Batman.
Batman, okay. Jordan?
I think for me, I got to give the edge to Batman because this is a huge hole in my viewing. I've not seen any of the Die Hard movies because I'm waiting for a good time where I can have a big movie marathon and watch them all. Like maybe like one after the other, not in one day, but maybe in multiple days. But I mean, Batman was just super iconic, and yeah, and kind of like I mentioned for an argument against Bloodsport, I do think Batman has its cheesy moments, but I mean, there's some people who actually hold that as their favorite Batman to this day. It's not mine, but I definitely would pick it probably over Die Hard because I haven't seen him, or not Die Hard. Sorry, Lethal Weapon.
Perfect. Okay. Sorry if I was freezing or anything there. My computer has gone here. Sorry about this.
It's all good.
Anyone else voting there for Batman or Lethal Weapon 2?
Well, I'd have to vote for Batman. I only saw it recently on the big screen. Actually, it was shown in Dundrum.
Oh, nice.
And to be honest, the fight scenes, the action in it is pretty crap. But Jack Nicholson makes it. You know, if you compare it to movies today, it's pretty crap. But Nicholson makes it. Tim Burton's direction was brilliant.
And as I said,
Lethal Weapon 2 is probably my least favorite of the Lethal Weapons, so I'd have to give it to Batman.
Yeah.
And as I said in Movie Heroes, tier ranker fights, that film didn't go full burden, so automatically.
He never go full burden.
Would get my vote for Keaton as Batman alone. He really kind of nails the kind of, Batman, the kind of person that would become Batman. What kind of person? What would he be like as a person? I really like that. So yeah.
And we're gonna see a little bit of a return for Michael Keaton in The Flash, so I'm kind of looking forward to that.
Yeah, I'm actually really interested.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Yeah. Yeah, hopefully. It hasn't been 100% confirmed.
Perfect. Okay, so
I think we'll see it.
That's a clean sweep for Batman to go through to the next round. Next up, we have. I'm going to try something here. We have Commando against Top Gun.
Ooh, man.
Commando against Top Gun.
Sounds tough.
This one's actually. This one to me is easy.
Yes.
Like Top Gun.
This is the hardest one so far.
Yeah, like Top Gun, done.
Yeah, I'm similar to Ted. Like Top Gun, Tom Cruise, yeah, Maverick, and Val Kilmer as Iceman. Yeah, done. Volleyball scene.
Okay, just two votes for Top Gun. Anyone have any votes?
Yeah, I think I gotta
have any votes for Commando.
I gotta give the edge to Top Gun, I think, but Commando does have some of the best one-liners when he's like, remember solely when I said I would kill you last, I lied, and then he drops him off the edge. I mean, it has some great one-liners and stuff, but I mean, Top Gun's just classic, and like I don't know, like I think it's just like what you think of when you think of 80s action movies for sure. Like I mean, Top Gun's one of the first ones that always pops into my head, so I got to go with Top Gun.
Yeah, like I dropped Commando like a bad habit there and went for Top Gun, but that is unfair to Commando. It's just I just don't think it was ever gonna get near to Top Gun for me. So it was unfair how quick I dropped it.
I'm kind of inclined.
Top Gun all the way.
I mean,
I'm kind of inclined to agree. Top Gun, kind of out of those, Commando is a great 80s action flick, but Top Gun is one of the best.
Yeah.
I mean, the film alone where Slash is doing guitar
that's great
enough.
And also,
that's another clean sweep.
You can say also Top Gun has
so that's another clean sweep.
Best music, like I mean, all that Kenny Loggins music.
Oh, without a doubt.
Like I mean, pretty much all the music. Take My Breath Away, Playing with the Boys, even if it's kind of cheesy. I mean, it's definitely iconic.
Yeah.
100%. So, with that one gone, clean sweep for Top Gun, we have another new one ready to. Rambo First Blood against Highlander.
Ooh.
And I know I know whichever way this goes, won't be happy with either which way this goes. He actually has a tattoo of Highlander on his back, so it's this isn't going well for him.
I love Highlander. I can't say anything. Against what did you say?
Rambo.
Highlander against
Rambo First Blood.
Rambo. Oh, Jesus. My vote has to go to Highlander, even though Rambo is brilliant. Rambo First Blood is probably the best out of them as well. Up to Rambo. Not the last Rambo, the second last Rambo we made, which was just a blood fest and it was brilliant. But Highlander has to get my vote. It's not the best film in the world, but
the comments seem to be split here as well. We have Andrew and Stephen both one Highlander, one Rambo. So it is a split vote here as well. JD, what do you have for this one?
I'm really thinking about it. I'm kind of torn for a number of reasons, but I do think that I'll put it for First Blood. I do think it's the better movie. I do think it has something interesting to say about, Vietnam before a lot of other films were talking about it. So, I'll go First Blood.
It's very true. Very true.
Yeah, I think I gotta go
Jordan?
with First Blood, mostly for the fact I've never seen Highlander, so it's another one of my blind spots. But First Blood, that's just kind of like where you really get to know John Rambo, and for me, I just can't ever bet against Sylvester Stallone very often, unless it's Stop or Mom will Shoot. I'll definitely bet against that movie. But any other one, I mean, I always go with Sylvester Stallone. He's one of my favorite actors. So I mean, yeah.
Perfect. And Ted, after deciding vote on this one, maybe.
Yeah, possibly. Highlander, I think, is a brilliant cult classic, and a lot of people love it. But I think the better of the two films is Rambo, and Rambo led to a lot more than Highlander did.
Rambo.
So, yeah, I think I have to give it to Rambo. Yeah.
Rambo goes through on this one, and
Highlander had 4 movies or 5 movies, 2 TV series, 3 cartoon movies, animated movies. So a hell of a lot came out of Highlander. A couple of books.
It did. But
they even mixed them with Star Trek at one stage.
Yeah, but I don't know. I think Rambo just had a bigger cultural impact overall than Highlander did, unfortunately.
And we're talking First Blood. We're not talking about the Rambo series in general, where we can talk about maybe some of the quality of the other movies aren't so as good, but First Blood is just, it's really good.
It's awesome, yeah. In Highlander, they say there can only be one Highlander, but there's actually multiple. So, I mean, as far as movies go. All right.
There you go. We just have it. We have a comment here from a comment there from Blue Sky Productions. Doing well, and Rob, apparently you have a beautiful mustache there. Everyone's loving the mustache.
Nice.
Perfect. So we're moving on to the next one. With First Blood going through on that one there, and the next one is Roadhouse. It's Escape from New York.
Okay.
I know which one I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna go with Escape from New York. That's just my jam. Like the whole dystopian New York as a prison. Kurt Russell as Snake Plissken, I think, is amazing. I just love that character. For me, it's a slam dunk for me. Escape from New York.
Yeah, I think I gotta go with Escape from New York also. I just watched Escape from New York last night, actually, in preparation for this, because I knew I had a lot of holes, so I wanted to pick one movie on the list to watch. So I watched it for the first time last night, actually, and I loved it. And I mean, Roadhouse is fun. It's kind of another one of those cheesy, kind of just fun action movies. A lot of one-liners in that movie too. But I think that you got to go with Snake Plissken, Escape from New New York. Now, people have warned me maybe don't watch Escape from LA, but I don't know. I'll probably eventually get to it.
I may have a controversial opinion about Escape from LA, but I actually really love that film because it takes like the dystopian parts and just like ups it to like 100. Like I really do. Like the insanity just goes like times 1,000. So I like it. I'm in the minority, but I really do like that movie.
Nice.
Yeah, I'd have to go with
perfect. Okay, let's do for Escape from New York.
All right. I'll go with Escape from New York as well, as much as I like Roadhouse. There seems to be a lag in your
perfect. Escape from New York, true. Escape from New York is going through here, and the comment section's there as well. Escape from New York, Andrew with his vote in there as well for that. Pretty simple one there. Ted, were you going to vote Roadhouse or?
No, Escape from New York.
Completely gone.
Roadhouse to the shame.
Yep.
I love Roadhouse.
It is good, but like it just doesn't hold up to Escape from New York.
Roadhouse is a great pop.
I call it like a good B movie for Roadhouse. It's kind of what I kind of think of it as.
Like John Carpenter takes like these things that like on its surface are like nothing, and like surface that are just like B movies, and like makes it like some severe political commentary to them. So I always have been fascinated with John Carpenter.
Yeah, and he always has a great score.
Oh, he's a great filmmaker. You can't deny it.
So yeah, I would definitely hype up the music from Escape from New York.
Yeah, it's a pity he made the second one.
Great. So moving on to the next one, might be a bit of a difficult one here, I think. It is Tango and Cash versus Raiders of the Lost Ark. Second entry from Indiana Jones into this one.
and there's a reason why there are two entries from Indiana Jones, because again, this is another kind of really brilliant. This is how we fell in love with Indiana Jones. So, like this, him and Marion Lockwood. To me, this is no brainer. Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Anyone have a vote for Tango and Cash? Anyone vote for Tango and Cash?
I'll give Tango and Cash a vote just so they have one, because I'd feel bad for them to go out clean sweeped again. But
I think
I'll give them one. But I think Raiders of the Lost Ark will go through. But I'll give a vote to Tango and Cash just for the sake of it.
Yeah, usually I don't like to bet against Indiana Jones. Sorry, I don't like to bet.
No, I'd have to give it.
To bet against Sylvester Stallone is what I meant to say, because I got to go with Raiders of the Lost Ark, and also I haven't seen Tango and Cash, so I got to go with Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Tango and Cash, great fun. It has a good. I think Terry Hatcher is in it. She's Sylvester Stallone's sister or something in it, and it's good fun. It's great fun, but. Raiders has to win.
Oh yeah, Raiders should win. I'm only giving that vote to Tango and Cash just to give them the pity vote. Like I knew they weren't getting through.
Yep.
Perfect. That's going through, and the comment section seems to agree as well. Indiana Jones, no question. And they're voting in on that one there as well. So we move on to the next one. That's the first half of the first round done, and we move on to first showing of Sylvester Stallone against Arnie.
Oh dear.
We have Predator against Cobra.
Okay.
For this one, lads.
Oh yeah, okay.
This may be a split, but for me, this is not. Another one that's not that hard at all. I love Predator. I love how it starts as like you think it's just gonna be like this generic war film, and then like they just kind of like flip it on its head really quickly, and like it's commentary on masculinity, and like I just kind of really love this movie. And Arnie is so good. Arnie is so good.
Yeah, he's so good.
So for me, it's Predator. Yeah.
Yeah, I got to give my vote to
for all the
Predator.
Stallone. Yeah, for all the Stallone films, it's to go up against Predator. Nah, Cobra's not taking that one.
No, it's going up against a juggernaut there. And for me, I think Predator really takes off because I actually I have another show called Blind Spots where I watch movies I haven't seen, and I just watched Predator the first time I think like 3 months ago or so. And what really takes off for me is when it's Arnold 1v1 versus the Predator. That's when it's really awesome. But there's some cool action stuff, some fun stuff with Carl Weathers beforehand, all that. But for all those reasons, I got to give it to Predator. It's just iconic. It spawned so many movies. So and then there's even more coming. So yeah, I got to give it to Predator.
Cobra.
Predator true and seems quite easily there as well. Cobra.
Cobra was great when it came out.
Go ahead.
Cobra was great when it came out. With what I think his wife was in it, Bridget Nielsen, I think was in it with him. I think he met her in that movie. Or no, he came after Rocky 3, I think. But yeah, Predator definitely has to win. There is a great bit in Predator where Carl Weathers is shooting his gun with one arm after having his arm blown off. And if you look, you can see he has it up behind his back.
Oh.
Predator wins.
Nice.
You expected those 80s tropes, the bad specials. You kind of expect that to come in these.
Yeah.
So that's Predator true. And next, I don't know if this will be a contentious one or not, or as this one of these films is kind of different to the rest of the films on the list. We have Rambo 2 against Beverly Hills Cop.
Ooh.
The comedy side.
Yeah, like Beverly Hills Cop.
The second Rambo film starts ramping up in the action a little bit.
Yeah, Beverly Hills Cops is enjoyable, and it's a nice. Does have its action bits in it, but it's a comedy film, and up against a juggernaut like Rambo 2, it's not going to make it past the first round here.
It may not make it past it here, but I'll still put my vote for Beverly Hills Cop because I like it. I prefer it to Rambo 2.
Yeah, I respect that. Like I gave my vote to Tango and Cash, knowing full well they weren't getting anywhere as well. But
see, that's the thing. You might be surprised. I'm voting for Beverly Hills Cop as well.
Oh.
It's a really good. To me, I just prefer it.
It's deadly.
Yes.
I prefer it to Rambo 2. I just do.
Yeah. I think I got to give my vote to Beverly Hills Cop, I think, just because like Rambo 2, I think that as an overall 80s action movie, I think maybe it's a little bit better that way, but as an overall film, I just enjoy Beverly Hills Cop so much more. I think that it's one of Eddie Murphy's best movies he's ever done. So
yeah, and it just Eddie Murphy. Let's talk about it. Yeah, this 48 hours, these 80s films really solidified Eddie Murphy as a juggernaut.
Yeah.
Time. Yeah.
I don't think Beverly Hills Cop is an action movie, to be honest. But I don't want to see Rambo going into the next round either. So Beverly Hills Cop it is for me too.
Fair enough. I'm happy enough for Beverly Hills Cops to get through, but I don't think it'll stand too far in this. Maybe I'm wrong though. Yeah. Maybe it's got more love than I think.
It's hard to vote against the banana in the tailpipe, right? Right.
Sorry, lads. Here, if you can't hear my computer again, don't know what's happening. Haven't had these issues in quite a while, and the first time I decided to do a stream, I'm having a terrible internet connection, so I do apologize.
I love the internet.
Not. It's called. From what I gathered, there is that Beverly Hills Cop going through, or
Beverly Hills
Calculate that. Beverly Hills are going through. Right.
Yeah.
That's a bit of an upset, I think. Bit of an upset there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Next, the banners. I'm going to try and stop with the banners for a moment to see if that helps with the internet.
Yeah.
So this one's going to go with The Untouchables against another powerhouse, I think, in Aliens. So the second Alien movie.
This is gonna be tough for me because I'll be completely honest. One of them I don't think is an action movie necessarily in The Untouchables, and then like it has a couple action sequences here or there, but I consider it more of a crime drama. On the other hand, I'm not a huge fan of Aliens. I prefer Alien as opposed to Aliens. Not that that matters here, but I still like the first 30 minutes was very slow, and I hate all the corporate stuff. So my vote will go for Untouchables.
I think I gotta go with Aliens, just because I think Aliens is actually where the series actually becomes more of an action movie. I think the first Alien 1's more of a horror movie, actually. Like it definitely like has so much more horror vibes, but Aliens is when it kind of breaks out into action. And I also haven't seen The Untouchables, so I got to go with Aliens again there. So,
well, I think The Untouchables is probably the best movie that's on the list. Not an action film. It shouldn't. I don't think it should be on the list for 80s action movies. It's a drama, and the best film there, to be honest. Aliens definitely has to win it there. I remember going to see that in the cinema. I was 18 years of age. Brought my mum. Couldn't believe it. She loved it. It was a tough choice between the two of them. I was thinking that the two of them were probably the best movies out of the lot. So, and Untouchables shouldn't be in this list because it's in a class of its own. So I'll definitely go with Aliens.
Yeah.
I do apologize there, lads. I didn't. Hopefully all of you heard that. The points there being made, because I couldn't hear a thing. Just real quick, who voted for who?
I heard it all. I voted for Aliens.
I think we all voted for Aliens.
Yep.
I think.
Except for me, I voted for Untouchables.
That's what
JD gave Untouchables, but I think Aliens is the correct answer here. Untouchables it's good, it's a great film and everything, but I just not an action film.
Yeah,
in that sense.
I can see that it's not an action film. I'm just not a fan of. I know. I think this was a. We'll get into it later when we get into the next round, but I'll tell you why it just did not work for me more.
Yeah, I was okay with Beverly Hills getting through. That's one kind of not so actiony film getting through in this 80s action thing. Yeah. But I'm not having two of them do it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I get it.
Right. Is he frozen again?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think his internet's having.
I don't know if he's able to jump out and back in if he's the host.
No, he's back now, I think.
All right, you're back.
You're back.
I can see you. Well, for a second. Now you're frozen again.
All right, I think it's done. I think that the wave is over. I do apologize about that, lads. Sorry about that.
Right.
Just real quick, what were the votes?
Aliens went through.
Well, not swept. It was a gentleman's sweep, 3-1.
Yep.
Aliens true. Perfect.
Yeah.
The next one we have is, if I can read my own writing, we have Fury or Mad Max 2 and Big Trouble in Little China.
I'll jump in first on this. I know it might be a bit controversial, but I'm going Big Trouble in Little China. That's a fucking deadly film, and it's real proper 80s cringy action. Like it's not. It's just I can't vote against it in this round.
Yeah, you're not going to be the only one, so it's going to have to get free. It's going to have to get free votes against because I'm also going to go Big Trouble in Little China.
Yeah.
I love Kirk Russell in this movie. Him as Dalton is just fantastic.
Yeah, I think actually I got to go with Big Trouble in Little China. So I got to go with Jack Burton. Like it's just
Burton.
Yeah, and it's one of those movies I only saw one time when it came out, but I haven't seen Mad Max Fury Road 2 either, so that's one of my other blind spots. So it's kind of one for the ones I have seen, and I mean I thought that it's kind of Big Trouble in Little China has some vibes of maybe a B movie, but I mean I think that it's a lot of fun. I mean I kind of went in. I kind of expecting a little, just a fun action movie with a bunch of one-liners and stuff. So yeah, I actually love.
I'm also Jewish, so I just can't in good conscience vote for Mel Gibson. So that also for why I haven't voted for him so far. Like I just can't do it. Like I understand he's a good actor, but seriously, nah, it's not gonna go.
I for sure, Jordan, thought you were going to go with Mad Max with that poster over your shoulder, but I'm delighted to see Big Trouble in Little China getting the love it deserves here, lads. So happy.
If it was Fury Road,
if Fury Road was on this list,
all day, every day,
it would be 100% Fury Road, not without a doubt. But no.
Well, in my opinion, I think the best Mad Max is this one.
Yeah.
You know,
which is why I'm so surprised that it's getting sweeped here, but.
Well, no, I'm not. You know, against Big Trouble in Little China, which was just so much fun.
It's a fun, like this.
It was great crack. You know, it was a great class.
Big Trouble in Little China definition of 80s films. Like it's there. So much fun.
With Mad Max 2, though, I do have to give it some props for the world building. It definitely does some really amazing world building there. So it's kind of like just takes you to a place I've never seen in any other type of movie, really. I mean, you've seen shades of a post-apocalyptic things before, but I mean, just the way that they do it's kind of unlike really anything I've seen before. I haven't seen it, but I mean, I've seen enough of like little bits and pieces and trailers here and there to at least know what the world looks like, and it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it was pretty cool when it came out. You know, they from the first movie, which was totally different, was set in a city. You know, and there was a bit of romance and there was a bit of this and the other. But the second one, it was more. It was all out in the desert and it was all dirty and gritty, and you know they're all fighting for fuel, and it was pretty cool. It was a great story, but I think we'd have to go with Big Trouble in Little China.
Yeah.
Yes.
Nice.
I will say one thing right here. I am going to have to send a very strongly worded letter to my internet company. Damn Virgin Media. I have not heard a single word of anything there. I've had to try.
That's all right.
And they're cutting you out because they don't want you to speak up.
Yeah.
You're gone again, Carl.
Yeah, you cut out again.
Yeah, they must be Mad Max fans and they're raging here.
Right. Yeah.
No, they just don't want Carl to send an angry letter against them.
Right. See if that's any better.
How you doing? No.
No. Oh, I think we might be back here. Sorry about that. So do I have to cast a vote, or has something gone through there? Mad Max or Big Trouble in Little China?
Since you haven't heard, let's hear what you have to say, and then we'll tell you what we voted.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, let's go.
I don't particularly have much of either film. It's been a while since I've seen either, but my vote just for just for either of them would have to be for Big Trouble in Little China. That's
Yes,
what my
a clean
vote is
sweep.
swaying.
Yeah, there's a clean sweep.
Clean sweep
Yeah.
goes through.
Good
Right,
advance.
perfect. Great. Next one we have, it's one iconic film and one iconic action film, but I want to see how this one throws down. We have Platoon up against Star Wars: The Empire Strikes Back.
Oh, I'm
That one's kinda
sorry.
unfair.
Star Wars. I'm going Star Wars. I don't
Yeah,
care
me
what it
too.
came up
I'm
against
sorry.
here. It's not
I'm
going out in the
sorry.
first round.
Same. Yep. But
I'm
gotta go with Star
sorry.
Wars.
I can't do this. I can't vote for Platoon. It has to be Star Wars. Can't do it.
That one's gonna be a juggernaut.
Well, that's
Yeah, we all agree.
I think that's the quickest one. I think that's the quickest one to go through. Empire
Yep.
Although
goes through on
Platoon
that.
does deserve a note. Platoon is an absolutely amazing movie. I don't
Yeah,
think it's
it
quite
is.
an action flick
Yes,
because again, it's a war film. It's not an action flick, so it should. I don't think it should be on the list.
Yep.
But and it was a brilliant dramatic movie. It shouldn't be up against this type of 80 action.
Yeah.
When you come up against a juggernaut, like a real, like not just action film, but like a real juggernaut of a film, Star Wars, you're going to be hard pressed to beat it, whatever you are. So
Yeah, it might be
It's one of those films
Oh,
that,
that's
like,
true.
it's one of those films that subverts genre. Really, like I
Yeah.
feel it's one of those few films that subverts genre.
Yep. Yeah, it's just a part of like pop culture, a part of just all culture, really. Yeah, but
Oh,
And
it's definitely become all of culture.
mm.
yeah, but I also haven't seen Platoon. That's another one for me. So
You haven't
Right.
lived.
I know.
Well, maybe he's
More
lived too
culture in my
much.
life. Yep.
He's
Well,
out there
maybe,
actually
maybe.
living, and we're all
Maybe
sitting
I
here
haven't
watching
lived,
films.
Perfect. Next up, I'm going to try here as well because I think things are going a little bit better here. We have Lethal Weapon versus Red Dawn.
I guess I'll go here again. Due to my
I'm going straight for Lethal Weapon.
I don't think you heard my Mel Gibson rule. I'm not voting for anything Mel Gibson. So Red Dawn would get my vote.
That's fair
I
enough.
also just prefer that movie. But I really do love the relationships between the brothers, played by Patrick Swayze. Yeah, I find that film so fascinating. Like, really, really fascinating. You know, with the Soviet Union taking over the United States, you know, you had the family dynamics with the brothers, and like you see why like they're apart, but you also kind of see why the older brother, played by Patrick Swayze, kind of had to leave because the father is kind of like strict, and you know, I just really do love that movie. So yeah, for that end, because I think Mel Gibson just is, yeah. Well, we don't need to get into that anymore. Yeah, let's go with.
Perfect. Ted, what do you have here?
Lethal Weapon for me. It's one of the. It's a real juggernaut in 80s action films, and it's not good cop, bad cop, but you know, it's straight laced cop to guy who's just a bit on the mental side. And I just think that dynamic works really well. So yeah, Lethal Weapon will go through for me on this one.
Yeah, no,
kind of
I'm the same there with Lethal Weapon. Taking away, real Mel Gibson. It's a great film.
Yeah, something kind of sad is that I've never seen any Lethal Weapon movies, but I saw the whole entire TV series because my wife is really into it, and so she wanted me to watch it, and But yeah, so I mean, it was okay, but I mean, I can't really compare it to the movies at all. But I gotta go with Red Dawn, I think, just because I mean, I really love the cast. You got Charlie Sheen, Patrick Swayze, even Leah Thompson, then a little bit, and just
and Jennifer
better
Grey.
it is than. Oh yeah, yep, you got Jennifer Grey, but like just how much better the original is than the remake of it. The remake's okay, but like the original is just way better. So I mean, I gotta go with Red Dawn.
The remake is not bad. Like it's like it's surprisingly not bad. It's just it doesn't compare to like the original.
No.
I love the
so,
original.
Rob, you have the deciding vote.
Oh, okay. Well, I love the original Red Dawn, and I haven't seen the remake. The original one was great cast. See Thomas Howell, you didn't mention there. He was great. He's still doing it today. But I love Mel Gibson. That kind of introduced him to the world, that movie. He really got his name out there, Lethal Weapon. And I'd have to go with Lethal Weapon, I think, for this one.
Lethal Weapon goes true. Okay. Lethal Weapon. So we go on to, I think it's the second time we have it against Sly. And this one is The Running Man against Rocky 4.
This time I think I have to go Rocky 4. I do love me some Arnie, but like Rocky 4 is just pure like U.S. propaganda and like its most cheesy U.S. propaganda.
100%.
in its purest form. And I was 100% there for it.
It's the film that single-handedly ended the Cold War.
Yep.
If you can change, I can change. The whole world can change.
Yeah, there's also an awesome music video with all those montages, one after the next, which I actually love. So for me, I probably got to go with Rocky 4. I actually just saw the Running Man only recently, about a year ago, probably. It was a lot of fun. Like I actually had a great time with the Running Man, the whole kind of reality game show in a dystopian world kind of thing. That was fun, but I mean, it's just hard to compete with Rocky. I think Rocky's going to be a juggernaut. I think
and especially like now with like, I feel like I know we're just talking about the films in the vacuum, but Creed 2, like when he comes back, when Drago comes back from Creed to Creed 2, like how those two kind of tie in together, I just find it so fascinating.
Yep, agreed.
No, I agree that definitely. I think Creed 2 kind of improved on Rocky 4, if that makes any sense at all.
Yeah. That's what I was kind of going for. Like it really did help.
And
Rocky.
All right. And Ted, is it the clean sweep?
Yeah, the 1-2 knockout from all Rocky. We're gonna see more, Arnie versus Sylvester. But so far it's been one's greatest film versus one's kind of weaker one, and vice versa. So this one's not a difficult one, really.
Yeah, I agree.
That's fair. Rocky 4 through to the next round, and then we have our last matchup in the first round here, and it's an all Arnie affair. We have Conan the Barbarian up against the Terminator.
I'll go first for this one. I love the Terminator, so like that's where my vote will go, because I just think, especially like it is an action film, but it also, I think it's another one where I think it kind of plays with multiple genres, because it's also part like horror film too, like how he just randomly kills people left and right. So to me, there's a lot more going on there that I just really, and the claustrophobic feel it has at times too. I just really love Terminator. So for me, it's Terminator.
Yeah, I think I gotta go
Terminator and
the Terminator for sure for me. And I think
the comment section seems to be agreeing there as well.
Yeah, but I think going for the Terminator, like I think it's just I don't know, like I just love it so much more. But with not voting for Conan the Barbarian, I think we're going to hear the lamentations of the women. but I think that the Terminator just
as much as I enjoy Arnie punching camels, I'm gonna have to vote for Terminator myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it a clean
Unfortunately,
sweep?
I have to
Was it a
agree.
clean sweep?
Yeah, I think that
Yeah.
Conan's a great fun film, but it's Terminator is right up there. Like you can mention Terminator to nearly anybody, and they're gonna know what it is. Whereas I don't think Conan the Barbarian is the same.
Yeah.
Arnie is not the
That's true. That's very
greatest
true.
actor as it is, and like I think Conan the Barbarian sometimes you can really see because that was like his first really big film. You can see sometimes like they were just like trying to figure out how to get around the fact that like he hasn't quite figured out what his personality is yet.
Right.
It's a fun film, but yeah, it's
true.
not gonna bypass a Terminator.
It's just yeah, you can't as James says here in the comment section, it's Terminator, no question. You can't argue it. You really can't.
No.
Nope.
And also in the comment section we have there Andrew with Terminator as well. That's everyone in the comment section. It's no question the Terminator. It's a classic.
Yeah.
So that's the round one done. We're moving on. That's the end of that. We start off round number 2 with a tough one. It's Die Hard back in it up against Full Metal Jacket.
I'm still going to continue on the Die Hard train. I didn't vote for Full Metal Jacket the first time. I'm not going to vote for it this time. I also, speaking of, is Full Metal Jacket really an action film?
It's more of a war film. I do
It's
agree
more
with
of
you
a
there.
war film, whereas Die Hard, I think it's just there's so much there with like the relationship about the fact this is about him trying to reunite with his family, and again Nakatomi Plaza, the one-liners. Like it's very very for me it's very tough to do anything other than Die Hard.
Yeah, I'm with you here, JD. Like I did vote for Full Metal Jacket to go through in the first round, but it wasn't going through. It's not going through John McClane.
No.
There's very many have tried. Many have tried to go through John McClane. All have failed so far.
Yes.
Well, he might get beaten yet. Get beaten yet, but definitely not by Full Metal Jacket.
I don't think he's gonna get beaten now that he's a superhero. But you never know.
Right. Yeah, I think I gotta go with Die Hard just because it's iconic. I watch it every single Christmas, and just the relationship between John McClane and Hans Gruber, just the dynamic that they have. I mean, to a lot of people, Hans Gruber is probably the greatest movie villain in the history of movie villains. So I mean, for that reason too, you got to advance it.
The way he just reads, and now I have a machine gun. Ha ha ha.
Yeah, right.
I mean, he's for a lot of people, he's like one of the top maybe 2 or 3 action villains of all time, if not the top for a lot of people. So much so that in the third film they brought his brother into
it. It's hard to argue that.
Yep.
It's hard to argue that Hans Gruber is classic, and my vote is Die Hard as well. Is it a clean sweep right along the board?
It is a clean sweep.
Yeah.
Yep, I think it's clean sweep.
Yeah.
Unfortunate. Full Metal Jacket, not disparaging that movie at all, but it's just not as good as Die Hard.
No, Full Metal Jacket's awesome. I love that movie. But yeah, not over Die Hard.
Yeah, that film relies heavily on the drill sergeant. Really, to be honest, I think for me, and I don't think he beats John McClane, so therefore his film doesn't beat Die Hard.
Yep.
But I will say though,
I have to agree. If it
makes
wasn't for
lots of
Vincent D'Onofrio and Lee Emery, it was crap.
yeah. Well, for me, I think that
Vincent D'Onofrio was amazing in it. He stole the show. And the drill sergeant.
Jackets. It's probably in my top 5 favorite war movies because I just like the whole atmosphere that it creates. It creates kind of like a darker version. It really shows like the very dark side of war, but yeah, not against Die Hard though.
Next up, we have a battle of the franchise. The next one here, it's Batman up against Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade.
It's tough.
This is where I love Batman. Batman's my favorite comic book character. This is where Batman goes out for me. Because, again, the Last Crusade, it's, it has so many things going for it. You got Nazis as like the classic villains. You have this, war intrigue. The throwback to like, 1920 serials, and this one really goes into the 1920 serials feel of it all. The opening scene where you see young Indiana Jones, to me, it's Indy, no doubt. Yeah.
I'm actually voting Indiana Jones as well myself. As much as Batman '89 is a great film, and Jack Nicholson, I'm not the biggest fan of Nicholson as the Joker in that film. Just compared to what we've seen, compared to Heath Ledger or anything like that. But as much as I love the film and I would throw it on any time, Last Crusade would probably be my second favorite Indiana Jones film, and it's going through in my opinion. It's my vote.
I'll go the opposite to you two, and I'll go with Batman. I think Nicholson as the Joker is one of the best portrayals of the Joker. Heath Ledger does very well, but if you go back and watch both of them, you can see that Heath Ledger borrows a lot. And there's nothing wrong with that. Like, if someone's done something well, you should borrow from them. But he borrows a lot from what Nicholson did.
Yeah.
And I think Nicholson did a great job in portraying, going from kind of just a typical mobster bad guy to getting into that crazy character that the Joker is. And I just love how he's the real comic book sort of Joker. It's real all punchlines and gags, rather than Heath Ledger's relied less on that like 80s gag stuff. And for me, I'll put Batman through, but I do see why Indiana is probably the one that will go through on it.
Yeah, I think I got to give it to Indiana.
Rob, who Indiana Jones. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, well, Batman was brilliant, but I don't think movie should go through on the performance of one actor. Really, I think, don't get me wrong, I think Michael Keaton was brilliant and he brought the whole superhero genre to a new level. But Nicholson stole the show. He was brilliant in it, but he's a brilliant actor, so no surprise there. But as an action movie, I think The Last Crusade was absolutely brilliant. The cast was great. Sean Connery stole the show, and that I thought it was great. Everybody was brilliant in it. Alison Doody, I thought it was fun. My vote would have to go for Indy, I think, in this one. As much as I love Batman, but Indy has to win.
Yeah, I think I'm voting with my heart rather than my head on this one when I go with Batman. Like, I know that it shouldn't win, but at the same time, I can't go against the Caped Crusader for it. So
I probably would, if only I saw the film only recently, I probably would have voted for Batman, but it's not really that great a movie.
Yeah, it's I would go. It's a fine movie. I prefer, as I said, of the portrayals, I do prefer Heath Ledger as opposed to Jack Nicholson. Although Jack Nicholson is great, but I used to do the pencil scene like over and over and over again.
Yeah, that's
like the pencil scene. I'm gonna make this pencil disappear. Ta-da! Disappear. So yeah, to me, and it does. The cheese is a bit much for me when sometimes with Batman. It lays it too thick.
I don't know. See, like, I look at that and like I know a lot of people loved Keaton as Batman. I don't really buy into Keaton as Batman. I don't think he's one of the best ones at all. I think Nicholson carries this film completely. Like I just don't really buy into Keaton as Batman. I don't buy into him as Bruce Wayne, and I don't buy into the guy they had play Commissioner Gordon either. Like this whole film for me really does rely on Nicholson.
See, no one really in live action has ever played both Batman and Bruce Wayne correctly. Normally, it's they play one or the other. I think Keaton has played. I think Keaton is a pretty decent Batman. He's not the best.
Yeah.
You know, but Bruce Wayne. He got that the Batman is the real person, not the persona. But like, yeah, I didn't buy him as the billionaire persona type. But no one really has played Bruce. There's only one person who I think ever played Bruce.
I don't know.
Bruce Wayne well.
Christian Bale played Bruce Wayne great.
Yeah, I was going to say I think Christian Bale did a good job on both.
Yeah,
He's
so
better
like,
as a...
the first movie, Batman Begins, was based on the whole premise you gotta like Bruce Wayne. It was a Bruce Wayne movie. It wasn't a Batman movie. It was you gotta like Bruce Wayne. That was the whole premise of Batman Begins.
This is where I disagree with you. I think he played Batman better because again, Christian Bale, Batman's the persona. Bruce Wayne is the billionaire type, and there just wasn't enough of the Bruce. You didn't see him as Bruce Wayne enough, in my opinion, to when you did see him as Bruce Wayne, he nailed it. But like you didn't see it enough. Whereas I think the only person I think who played Bruce Wayne well was actually George Clooney, who wasn't in a good Batman movie.
That's a bold statement.
Yeah.
He did play a great Bruce Wayne. He was a terrible Batman.
I just said he wasn't in a good Batman movie, but he played Bruce Wayne. He played a pretty brilliant Bruce Wayne.
Fair.
Right. Just on that, I am not accepting that was a bad Batman film, right? I know it is a bad Batman film, and I do understand that, but I'll never accept it because I love that film. It's so good. It's just so cheesy, and Arnie's brilliant in it.
I love how bad that movie is. Like, just the Mr. Freeze one-liners is fantastic. But we're getting off tangent here. Let's move on.
I was expecting a pow and a bounce every time they punch somebody.
Yeah, that's what I want. That's what I want.
Jordan, your vote there. Jordan, your vote there. That was for Last Crusade as well, was it?
Yeah, and actually, I would go as far to say that I'm having a brain fart on this. Oh, that the only good Bruce Wayne I've ever seen was actually Adam West. I think like he did a great Bruce Wayne, but other than that, like I don't really like any of the Bruce Wayne. But we have had some great Batmans, but I've never really seen a very good Bruce Wayne. So I mean, I would go with Last Crusade, and also because of I just love the music score for that movie so much, and that paired with all the action scenes, and then also the scenes that just build the relationship between Indiana Jones and his dad. Like it's just great. So I got to go with that.
That being said, I'm very intrigued about what Robert Pattinson's going to do with Batman next.
Oh, right. Big time.
Being a lot younger. Yeah.
So we move on to one here now that genuinely both of these movies could win. So this is a real powerhouse showdown. We have Top Gun against Rambo First Blood.
For me, it's an easy one.
Either can win it. Either could do it.
For me, I had to go with Top Gun. Like it's just like one of my favorite action movies of all time, and I'm a huge Tom Cruise fan. I know not everybody loves him because of how he is in his personal life, a little kind of eccentric, but like I love Tom Cruise. I love just Top Gun just from start to finish. I mean, I'd give it to Top Gun, and I'm excited for the new one coming out if it ever comes out. We'll see.
Well, we know it's filmed.
So I'd have to go.
I've seen it twice already at this stage.
I'll go with Top Gun as well.
There's 2 votes to Top Gun.
First Blood was never my favourite.
I'll go Top Gun again,
Ted?
based on Rambo killing those 3 dogs in First Blood. Fuck him for that. Top Gun.
I'm going to vote Top Gun for this round, but this to me, when we get to like later rounds, there are going to be a couple things that I'm going to point out that will have me vote for other things. Just warning you now.
Yeah, basically.
Right.
Well, I'm just for parity, I'm going to vote for First Blood because it doesn't deserve to go out with a clean sweep. But Top Gun was Top Gun's a glutton. You can't deny it, and the comment section seems to be going with that as well. There, Top Gun.
Yeah, basically.
Have you ever heard Tarantino's version of what he thinks Top Gun is all about?
No.
I think I did read up on this before. What was it?
It's so fun. He's having a gay affair with Iceman.
Yeah, it's real weird.
We're going to get into that. We're going to get into that later. We're going to get into that later. We talk about why I'm not going to vote for it. It has nothing to do. It has to do more with something else. But
you have the homoerotic volleyball scene, and then when they're sitting in the meeting, the guy that leads them, he says, "This guy gives me a hard on" or something, and like all those things. And so, like that, in some small way, makes a little sense.
You can be my wingman.
Yep.
We're definitely going to get into it later.
Here we go.
We're going to get into it. Yeah.
Next one up, we have Escape from New York versus Indiana Jones and the Raiders.
This one's actually really tough for me.
Yeah.
It's a tough one.
Tough.
It's a tough one.
Yeah.
For me, yeah. I'm voting. I'm going Raiders.
To be opposite from you to make this interesting, I'm going to go Escape because that's where I was leaning towards. But I was just like, that was what I was leaning towards. But I was also like, I do love Raiders really so much, though. But at the end of the day, as I said, I love Escape from New York so much. The world building in there, I love world building, is just fantastic. Like, you have like all, like the haves and the have-nots, and like all these people in these prisons, like playing into the decision in the end with Snake, like why he does what he does, about how the government has become too powerful and they need to reshift the balance back. Because I'm going to go for Escape from New York because I have a feeling that it may go Raiders, but I don't think it deserves a clean sweep.
That's why I voted first, so I don't have to make the final decision. I don't want to vote either last them out. Jordan, who do you
I'll go with Escape from New York. Escape from New York wins.
Rob would Escape from New York.
For me, I think I'm going to go for Lost Ark because when I think of iconic action movies, I mean, Raiders of the Lost Ark has so many iconic scenes. I mean, the whole iconic thing with his whip. There's the iconic thing with the giant boulder. I mean, with his hat. So many things that you think of, even the music. But there's not really too much that you really think of as iconic from Escape from New York.
I disagree with you there. Like, you got Snake, who's iconic. Yeah. You have
an iconic character, but beyond that, I don't really know.
I mean, you have all the weird kind of like monuments, like action sequences that are pretty iconic. You have, the taxi driver who's pretty iconic. There are I'd say there's a lot of iconography that kind of counters that. But yeah, I get it. I love Escape.
So that's a vote to Raiders, Jordan, is it?
Yeah,
it's 2-2. It's currently 2-2 right now. It seems like.
Ted.
And we already have one. We already have one Indiana Jones through there. I know that shouldn't mean anything, but
Yeah.
But which one
That's
is the
true.
better?
If you,
Indiana Jones? Is it Raiders?
if anyone here wants to try and convince Ted to see who you want to go,
As I'm going to say,
throw out your
I
argument
think
there now to try and convince Ted if you haven't made your mind.
Here's what I'll say. Here is what I'll say. As I said before, one Indiana Jones film is already through. That's number one. Number two, if you were going to compare Raiders of the Lost Ark to Last Crusade, I think Last Crusade would win against it anyways. So the fact that Last Crusade's already through, and I'm pretty sure that one's going to be like final two, if not win it. I think Escape from New York deserves to go through, especially since it's so close. And again, I think Last Crusade is, as I said, is the better Indiana Jones film, anyways, and that's true.
Well, here's something. If you were to poll 100 people and ask them who the most iconic action star of the 80s is, a lot of them would probably say Indiana Jones. If you ask them what the most...
You said iconic actor? It would be Harrison
Ford. No, iconic
Ford.
action movies. Yeah, so...
Sorry,
and then,
you say Harrison Ford. Or I actually of the 80s, I don't think you actually say Harrison Ford. I think you say it would be like Arnie or Sly, so would be the person that you say.
I'm talking about the pure characters, though. If you just say characters, and also if you,
I think you say Snake Plissken. I think you say, I think you say Snake Plissken. I think you say Rocky. I think you say, Dutch. Like,
well, also too. From just the Indiana Jones movies, if you were to pull 100 people about what's the most iconic Indiana Jones movie and what are the most memorable moments, it's definitely the boulder scene. That's what everyone
I'd argue that
they associated that. I mean, it's not to say that the one's better than the other, because I kind of see them as almost equal movies. Like one day I could pick one that I like better, the other day I could pick another, depending on the day. But I think though that most people think of the Raiders of the Lost Ark when they think of Indiana Jones. I mean, they have a whole entire ride at Disney at a theme park based on Indiana Jones. They don't have any Escape from New York.
But again, Indiana Jones is already through, and I'd say there's more iconic iconography from Last Crusade than there is Raiders. I think of Let It Go, Indy. I think of the Holy Grail. I think of like some of the the Zephyr scene that they were on. And again, speaking, it's Indiana Jones' ride. It's not Indiana Jones and the Raiders ride.
No, but I'm
just saying one of them is already through, and I think if you compare the two, it's not the one that's superior is already through, and I think Escape is just as worthy to be on there with Last Crusade.
The comment section seems to be agreeing. The comment section seems to be agreeing there with JD. Ted, do you agree with JD, or
the two boys?
What do you decide?
The two boys do make good arguments, one each way. I think I would say that Indiana Jones is one of the bigger icons of the 80s. I think people do know who Indiana Jones is. I think they know who Indiana Jones is more than Snake. I think if you said the word Snake to people, more people would think of Metal Gear Solid.
Had one through, and I think the more iconic one is through.
Yeah, but I think looking character easy to get confused.
I also think Snake is still a big enough icon that he deserves representation in the later rounds.
He does, but I think if you ask most people who they know Snake as, it's the guy from Metal Gear Solid rather than the guy from Escape from New York. I think that's the clincher.
I think it depends. I think it depends on the age range that you ask, because I think there's a whole sect of people that is that. I'm not saying that Indiana Jones is not the bigger icon. I'm just saying Snake is also there, like right below. And again, Last Crusade's already through. And again, comparing the two, Last Crusade is already through, and 9 times out of 10, I think Last Crusade wins over it. So why not? Why not? And again, Snake is a big enough icon that he needs, and this is the only film that we have from here that is Snake Plissken. It deserves representation in the later rounds.
It possibly does, but I think you can't look at it as
Ted,
we already
what do you
have
go
one.
for?
I don't think you can look at it as we already have one of them through, because otherwise I'd just look and I'd go, well, which of these films can beat Die Hard, and just go, no, and I'd eliminate that many of them. So
But
for
I
me, I think
from New York
Raiders
can
go
beat
through
a
here.
lot of these other films, and I don't know.
It might,
Raiders.
but I think Raiders is the one that'd go through between these two in a fight.
Yeah, but I will say that last
Raiders
night,
through to the next round.
when I watched Escape from New York for the first time, I asked my wife if she wanted to watch it with me, and she said, "Oh, I hate that movie. I'm not going to watch it." But we watch Indiana Jones movies all the time, so I couldn't even get her to watch it with me. So I had to watch it on my own. So I mean, she's no expert, and she's not the majority, but for her, she didn't want to watch it.
This hurts me. This really hurts me.
Okay. We never said this would be easy, JD. We never said it would be easy. Next up, we go.
At least I got the comments
for
on my side, so there's that.
Yeah,
exactly. We have Predator against Beverly Hills Cop. I don't think there's.
Yeah, I don't think there's much of an argument here.
I'm going to go for Predator.
I don't think we're going to.
Yes.
I don't think we're going to argue Beverly Hills Cop over Predator here. So let's just put that through.
Yeah. Beverly Hills is a comedy. It's not really an action film. Not in comparison to Predator, anyway. It's Predator.
And I feel like Predator can beat a lot of these other movies. We'll get to that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and Arnie knocks the shit out of you. Like, he knocks the shit out of everyone in Beverly Hills Cop. So, like, Arnie's walking through this.
Right.
Yep, I thought that was going to be a pretty quick one there now. You agree there, Rob?
Yeah, definitely.
Your mic is gone all there.
I do love the Predator movies, and I think Predator 2 is my favorite, to be honest.
Predator 2 is so bad.
Not my favorite Predator movie, but definitely beats Beverly Hills Cop in the action style.
Perfect. So Predator going through, and JD, the comment section agrees with you there. By the way, for the last one, hurts Andrew as well. Perfect. So going through to the next round, we have Aliens up against Big Trouble in Little China.
Okay, once again, I am voting for Big Trouble in Little China.
Yes! Yes! Big Trouble in Little China. Let's go all the way to the final.
Same here.
Really? Oh, no. That's Aliens for me.
Fuck Aliens, man.
Here's my problem with Aliens.
No way!
As I said, here's my problem with Aliens. It was way overhyped for me. Like, everybody was saying, oh, if you love Alien, and I love Alien, oh, then you're going to love Aliens. You're going to love Aliens. It's superior to Alien. And I'm like, I watched it and I'm like, okay, this corporate bureaucratic stuff is a bit boring and uninteresting, and I don't like it. Okay, it's a bit slow. We're still on the bureaucratic stuff. Oh, it's 30 minutes in here, and we're still on the bureaucratic stuff. Great. Yeah, I'll be completely honest. I didn't even make it through all of Aliens. So
no.
I can see a lot of people are going to be angry about Aliens getting put out here. Nah.
Yeah, it's split.
A lot of people are going to be hurt about Aliens going out here, but not me. Big Trouble all the way.
Burden for the win, and Wang Chung.
No, I gotta disagree. I think Aliens was probably one of the best Aliens movies again.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, but
you finally find out what's happened to Ripley after the first one. 10 minutes into it, there's aliens popping out of our chests, so I don't know where you're going with that. Nothing was happening. You're introduced to this great cast. They're all brilliant in it. Bill Paxton, it's great fun. The cast was brilliant. The movie was brilliant. Aliens wins for me. As much as I like Big Trouble in Little China, but Aliens is a step above.
Oh, don't get me wrong. Aliens probably should progress here, but I'm not voting against Big Trouble in Little China
Yeah, me
either.
either. But Wang Chi is just amazing. Like, and Kim Cattrall is like Gracie Law. I just think, yeah. Yeah.
No, Aliens is a far better movie, and as a movie, it's an action flick as well. Unlike some of the others that we voted out that were better movies, they weren't.
But I think it's free to
Aliens
Big Trouble.
I think it should be there.
Yeah, because for me, I will agree that
Rob, you're getting tanked. You're getting tanked there, Rob. But also, you're being asked me to mute you as well.
Yeah, well.
So again, the comment section is really split.
I'll scalp him the next time.
I will say that I think Aliens is the best alien movie that exists. But even so, I'm not a huge Aliens fan. I mean, I like it, but I mean, I just have so much fun with Big Trouble in Little China.
Yeah, it's a fun movie.
I love Aliens and I love the whole series, but
Same.
Big Trouble in Little China. My plan is to get this thing winning it. To be honest, what a film!
Big Trouble in Little China is just like a
that's a shock for me.
I don't think we're gonna get us off the three of us off it. It's 3-2. I think Big Trouble in Little China.
Yes,
I think so.
Next up we have Empire Strikes Back versus Lethal Weapon.
Empire.
Yeah. I love Empire. I'm trying to put my action head, like, what's the better action film? Lethal Weapon would be the better action film, but obviously Empire is a better movie. That's what I'm trying to think here where to vote on that, just because of that aspect.
I refuse to vote anything Mel Gibson, and as I said, Empire Strikes Back. There are just so many great sequences that, like, the battle on Hoth and action sequences. The battle on Hoth, the lightsaber battle between Luke and Darth Vader.
Gets his hand chopped off. All of that. Yeah.
You have the Millennium Falcon, like, just like being, trying to out dodge a TIE fighter.
80's classic.
I love the Star Wars films and stuff, but I do think, like, in terms of pure action, Lethal Weapon is the pure action film. That's all. Like, Lethal Weapon is literally just action. Yep. That's all it is. It's just action all the time. Whereas Star Wars is a story. It's something you get invested in, and something that, like, has a couple of action scenes here and there, but it's the story that drags you in. If you just want to sit down and not think about anything at all and just watch a load of, like, fight scenes and stuff, I think Lethal Weapon is the one.
If I didn't want to think about anything, I could just, like, get my head bashed for like 2 hours. I'll forget about things really quickly. But that's not what this is. It's the best 80s action film, and film is the word here. It's the best film, and it has.
No, it's not. It's not. It's action is the big word here, because if you're talking about best 80s film,
it's
a different.
There's the question in the comments. In the comments, but is this 80s action or 80s story?
I think
that's what this match comes up to.
I still think Star Wars qualifies as action if it's best 80s action film. Keyword action and film here.
Literally,
I'm gonna go for Empire Strikes Back. It's what it is.
For which film I actually prefer and which one I'd sit down and watch more, the answer is Empire Strikes Back. But in which one is just pure action, like, just hook action into your veins and go for it, it's Lethal Weapon.
I can't.
But isn't really action? When was the last time you saw Lethal Weapon? When was the last time you saw Lethal Weapon?
Only a couple of days ago. Like, yeah, it's just him
fight scene at the end, really, with him against what's his name,
and shooting people pretty much all the time. Like,
but
that's
like
not action, though, necessarily.
What do you mean? Of course, it's action.
I think Star Wars definitely qualifies. It's in there.
I'm not saying
definitely the best Star Wars movie out of the 9.
It is, and I'm not saying Star Wars doesn't qualify as an action film, but I'm just saying Star Wars is a better film. It has a better story. Everything else about it is better. But if you just want action, like sit down,
the keyword
watch dumb
is
action.
best action film, and it qualifies as an action film. And I'm sorry, it is a better film.
Yeah, it's a better film. But we're not. I don't know. I don't know why you're using. I don't know why you're using film as a qualifier because they're all films.
Some of the later
it qualifies as an action film. I'm sorry, Empire is just better. It just is, and the fact that the fact that it may do action slightly better, it does a lot of other things not as good. And again, to me, this is a travesty.
Jordan, I think the vote is down to you, Jordan. It's 2-2, Empire 2, Lethal Weapon 2. You get to decide which one goes through.
Well, I think my mind's kind of already made up. I got to go with Empire. It's not even my favorite Star Wars movie, but I mean, I just think that it's definitely an action film, and I feel like a lot of the action's even better than what you see in Lethal Weapon. They're battling with lightsabers. They're battling with ships. They're just like with blasters, all kinds of stuff. So you even have Luke Skywalker cutting open a tauntaun. I know that's not really action, but there's still he's got to cut it open and all that. So
I'm solid with it.
So yeah, I got to go with my heart on this one. But my brain probably would say Lethal Weapon, but I'm going with my heart on this one.
Yeah, like I said,
oh, that hurts me.
Star Wars is a better film, and I prefer it as a film. But if I was talking just action, then that's why I said Lethal Weapon, because it is pure action.
Don't agree.
Okay, so we go on to the last match up here in round number 2. So we're into the final 16, the last of this, and it's coming down to Rocky 4 against the Terminator. We have Sly and Arnie again.
Arnie.
I had to go Terminator on this. I do. Like, I love Rocky 4, but there is also a question of, is it really an action film or just a boxing film? And then there's also, I mean, yes, they're technically, hitting each other, but it's still, I think Terminator is the action film here. And also, as I said, I feel like it's the better movie too. And again, the tension and everything. Linda Hamilton as Sarah Connor is like, you see to see her in this film compared to when she's, in Terminator 2 is like an interesting dichotomy. And I really, really, really love Terminator.
Terminator's getting my vote here as well. As much as I love Rocky 4, Terminator I think is the better film, more entertaining film. So that's my vote there. Anyone else?
Yeah, well, Rocky 4 is so quick. They do a quick little story. They show Apollo dying, and suddenly he's out in Russia lifting a few rocks. And then they have a fight, and it's over, and it's over like that. I mean, it's feck all in it really. They cram a quick little story into this really short movie. And as JD said, it's a boxing movie. It's not your typical. It's not a real action movie either. So Terminator, it's my vote. It's brilliant. Arnie, he has 5 lines through the whole thing, but there's so much action through the whole thing. The whole thing is a rock and roll. It's just a place from the word go. Your blood's pumping through the whole thing, down to the last second where he gets his head squashed. It's brilliant. You don't know about it. Even after he does that, he still reaches out to grab her. It's so you're on your seat type of stuff.
Well,
definitely Terminator.
And I stand by this. Like I've said this in other places and in private. I want to do an investigation one day about how much did the U.S. government pay Sylvester Stallone to make the ultimate U.S. propaganda film for him.
Yep.
I feel like there had to be some U.S. government involvement in that film. I am sure.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yep.
Jordan and Ted, is it a clean sweep for Terminator?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, like Rocky 4 is good, but it's part of a series already. Terminator walked in as it's like at this time it's a standalone film. I know it goes on to have a franchise, but Rocky 4's already got an established franchise behind it, and Terminator walks in as a standalone film and just nails it. Like one of the most iconic films ever. So yeah, for me, Terminator walks through this one as well.
As time travel goes, like time travel is typically very wonky. Like the time travel in this movie, the rules they fit more or less, and they sticks to the rules the majority of the time. Like so, it works on that level too.
Yeah, but when I saw Terminator for the first time, it just really blew me away. It was like nothing I've ever seen before. It's like almost like they created a new genre, because the first Terminator is kind of more of a horror movie, but it has enough action to definitely still be considered an action movie for sure. But it just blew my mind. Whereas Rocky gave me all the feels, made me love my country, made me was like pretty inspirational, but I just don't get the same action vibes where it just like pumps me up and I don't know, gets my blood pumping like Terminator does.
Perfect. So, all right, so that's Terminator gone through, and we move into the final 8. We're nearly there, lads. We nearly have the best one, and we start this one off with Die Hard against Indiana Jones and The Last Crusade.
Oh, this is the toughest round by far.
Yeah. It's not going to get any easier.
I'll start us off then.
It's only getting harder now.
I'll start us off. Die Hard. For me, Die Hard is just one of the most classic films ever, and I understand that Indiana Jones is up there as well, but I just think Die Hard just stands tall above nearly every other 80s action film, so Die Hard for me.
I'm also going to vote Die Hard because I'm petty and I'm still mad that Escape from New York didn't make it through. So, Die Hard is definitely going to get my vote for sure. No, but seriously, I was leaning towards Die Hard anyways.
I love The Last Crusade. It's my favorite. It's my favorite indie movie. I'm not for Harrison Ford, to be honest. It's Sean Connery's movie, if you ask me. But so Die Hard, John McClane has to win it all the way. Against that, anyway.
Yeah, but I gotta go with Die Hard because it's a pure action movie. Whereas Last Crusade, you call it action adventure. There's a lot of drama involved, a lot of different things. But if you're going pure action movie, I think you got to go with Die Hard.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to vote against Die Hard. As much as I enjoyed The Last Crusade, I don't think it holds a candle to Die Hard. I think that's a fairly easy one to just plow on through right to the semi-finals. We start off next one here. It's Indiana Jones is up again. It's the Raiders of the Lost Ark against Top Gun.
Ooh. Again, for the pettiness factor, I am going to vote Top Gun, but also just
Top Gun.
Because it's Top Gun. Serious.
Top Gun.
Yeah, Top Gun.
Danger Zone.
I don't know.
Well, there you go. You said the two magic words there, Ted.
Yep. Yes. So for me, I'm probably going to be in the minority. It sounds like, but I'd probably go with Raiders of the Lost Ark just because I think that it has a little more action with Top Gun. You got a lot of scenes that's like you got a love scene. You got them playing volleyball. You got a bunch of stuff with them just walking around the base talking to each other. It's not like pure action to me. The only action you get is them flying around in airplanes, really, in jets. That's it. But
that is true.
The pure action comes from the Indiana Jones. There's fight scenes. There's all kinds. I mean, from start to finish, you get your blood pumping, and it's just it's just going like the whole movie. There's a lot more action, I would say, than Top Gun. So if we're going off just action,
this argument is not what has the film with the most action. The film is what is the best 80s action film. And I'm sorry, when I think of 80s, I think of buffy men playing volleyball and fighter fights more than I think of 1920s serials. I feel like this fits it more.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, to be honest, that's Top Gun going true.
Yeah, I figured that'd probably be in the minority, but like I just think that like I don't know, like when I think of action and I think Top Gun, I'm kind of like where's the action? A few airplane fight scenes, but then when I think of Raiders of the Lost Ark, I mean, I could point out like almost the entire movie is all action. So.
I feel like if this was just best 80s films, I feel like Raiders and like some of these other ones would have better shots than they do. But it's because it's 80s.
Where's the action in?
That's a good point.
I don't know. I think
where's the action in Top Gun?
I think if you were going for best 80s film, Top Gun would beat Raiders of the Lost Ark a lot easier than it would here. I do get where Jordan's coming from in that there is probably more action in Raiders of the Lost Ark than there is in Top Gun. But I think Top Gun just has such it's just got it's such a following. It's got such a legendary status behind it that I think it walks through this one as well.
Yeah. And as I said, like Top Gun is just like synonymous with the 80s. Like it feels 80s action as opposed to like Raiders, and it has more of a timeless feel. I feel like if you asked people when did like Last Crusade come out or when did like Raiders come out, I think most people, because it's so timeless, people wouldn't even know it was like an 80s action that was in the 80s.
That's the thing that it holds up, though. It's
a fair point.
Okay, but I don't think Top Gun's going to win this competition.
I don't think it's going to win either. We'll get into that later.
No. All right. Well, yeah.
So next up, we have. And I'm actually really annoyed at you guys because we could have had Predator versus Aliens, but no, we have Predator against Big Trouble in Little China.
Big Trouble in Little China, here we go.
Come on. You cannot vote that over Predator.
Yeah, Big Trouble in Little China.
I think.
Come on. Predator has to go through.
I got to go with Predator this time, I think. It's just like...
Yeah, I feel unfortunately I went as far as I could with Big Trouble in Little China, but Predator's just something else.
Yeah, Predator's just in another category when it comes to action. I mean, I think that it might be even a favorite to maybe win it all. So I think I got to go with Predator.
Yeah.
Not if it gets knocked out by Big Trouble in Little China, though, lads. All right.
All right.
Big Trouble in Little China has the classic. It even has the 80s bad guy in it. Predator didn't have that.
No, it just had a big stinking predator that hunted human people as trophies.
Yeah.
There's nothing not cool. There's nothing cool about that,
Of course
at
not.
all.
That's it. Big Trouble in Little China, lads, all the way. Let's go.
I went as far as with you as I could, but I can't.
Okay.
Same.
That is Big Trouble Little China out of the competition. Rob, do you have anything to say on that one? The movie's gone through it anyway.
I don't like Predator. I'm not the biggest fan of Predator, to be honest, so I probably would have voted for Big Trouble. But I'm not the biggest
Come on,
fan
lads, somebody changed their vote.
I was going to... I don't know, it's a tough one for me because I don't really like Predator. As I said, I like the second one better. So I'd actually give it to Big Trouble in Little China on this one, yeah. But
that's it. Somebody changed their vote quickly.
Last second decision, JD, Jordan. Before we move on, do you want to change your vote?
Look, Jordan, I can see it. I can see it in Jordan's eyes. I can see it in his eyes that he wants to. It's hard telling him. It's telling him.
I think I can do it because in my mind, I actually kind of think that the Predator might be a near perfect movie to me. I mean, I can definitely see why other people may not think so, but for me, like when I saw it,
I 100% it's a near perfect movie. I can't do it. I just can't do it.
Yeah, I can't.
No, lads, you can. That's the thing.
And that's
You see,
it. That's Predator has gone true.
If you got Arnold and
Perfect.
If there was any other
Arnold
movie,
and Apollo Creed, come on, in one movie.
Ted, if it
Jack
was
Burton versus Arnie, come on. Burton's winning that.
That's
all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
If it was like any other movie, I may have decided. If it was Lethal Weapon, I would have switched my vote instantly.
And now we go on to the last one in the semi-finals, or in the quarterfinals, I should say. We have the Battle of the Franchises. Empire Strikes Back versus Terminator.
Oh, this is tough. I think because unfortunately, I really do want to.
One is gonna win.
There's a part of me that wants to fight for Empire, but like,
I think
Terminator
just from what I was saying in the last round when it was up against Rocky, and when Empire was up against Lethal Weapon, I have to go Terminator. I prefer Empire as a movie, but if we're talking 80s action, Terminator is my vote.
Yeah, I'm on the exact same thing. Prefer Empire. Think it's a better film overall, but Terminator is a brilliant film in its own right as well. And as an action film, pure action, Terminator would take it.
I am a big Star Wars fan. I really love it.
Me too. I love it as well.
I'm sure you all are, but yeah, Terminator. Like, it's an adult movie, isn't it? You know, that's why an 80s action flick should be. You know, where like Empire is a family fun. So yeah, I think Terminator wins it for me. Unfortunately,
Terminator.
I think the fact that you're one of your main actors in it being Arnold Schwarzenegger and him needing about 5 lines in the entire film because all the rest of it is just him hunting someone down and shooting at them. I think that says it all. Like, if you don't need to talk in your film to explain anything, you're pretty much just an action film. Like,
and there's also just the fact that, like, you know, he's a killer robot. I don't think you really need to just hunt people. I don't think he needs any more than like 5 lines as a result.
Oh no, but that's my point. Like, he doesn't need it. Like, you know, if just sit down. Like, Star Wars is something you sit down to enjoy and to watch, and you kind of think about it and you buy into the story. There's not really much of a story in terms of Terminator. Evil robot wants to kill somebody. That's your story.
Yeah.
That's all you need to know. Like, I could sit anyone down and go, evil robot wants to kill humans. That's all the story you need to know. After that, it's just shooting and chasing. Okay, grand. Definition of action film, pretty much.
Yeah, that's all you need. That's all you need.
And it does also like build some interesting mythology on it, despite the fact that it is a mostly purely 80s action film. Like the future and like the savior of John Connor, and they need to save the mother of John Connor because, you know, they kill her. John Connor never comes to an existence. There's some interesting war stuff they were managed to add in there too. So yeah, there's a part of me that really wants to go Empire because I love that movie so much. But
same. But if I use the argument in the last one about Lethal Weapon being pure action and that being the reason it should be Empire, I can't say opposite on Terminator here.
Yeah. Yep.
No, I think I gotta go with Terminator. I mean,
as much as it hurts to take out Star Wars, it hurts very much, but it has to go.
Yeah, I'm just gonna do a pity vote. Like, I'll pity vote Empire, even though it's not gonna go through. And I'll just pity vote Empire because I love it so much.
For me, there's certain days where I even like Terminator better than Empire. I mean, Empire is my 3rd favorite of the original trilogy. Everyone puts it on a pedestal. I don't really understand that, but
I mean, to me, it's easy. It's my favorite of the original trilogy. I am one of the people that put it. I think A New Hope even though we're not talking about it. I think Mark Hamill is like nails on a chalkboard in New Hope. Like the first act, he is like
I like
really
Return of the
bad.
Jedi. That's my favorite.
And then like once Obi-Wan comes through and like Han comes through, then that's when the movie like he becomes, when he's interacting with other people, he's actually okay. He can interact with people well enough. But that was his first acting role, and it shows. It takes for me, A New Hope. It takes a while for me to get like invested in it. I do, but yeah. Right. But enough about that. Terminator's gone.
Yep, Terminator.
Perfect. Terminator's gone through, and we move on to the semifinals. And to start it off, I just want to say I kind of ranked all these films beforehand, from 1 to 32. In the semifinals, we have number 1, 2, 3, and I don't know how it ended up down there, but number 22 as well.
Oh wow!
1, 2, 3, and 22 have gone.
What was number 4?
To go for this.
Story.
No,
well, like Big Trouble in Little China.
Number 4 was Raiders. Number 4.
Oh, really?
Big Trouble in Little China was number 4, and it somehow got knocked out.
All about the Cinderella story. Come on.
I will tell you, Big Trouble was 12. Big Trouble was 12.
Okay.
But we'll
like
go
1 and
here.
2.
We have Die Hard versus Top Gun.
Top Gun had a great run, but I have to say it ends here. It ends here because
you're going up against
the thing. We talked about it like in one of the earlier rounds, but the love story should have been Iceman and Maverick, and instead they do this like other thing with this other woman that it's not that they have no chemistry with. So Die Hard.
Die Hard. Ted, what do you have?
I'll go Die Hard, but just because I think it is, it's kind of what Jordan said before. Top Gun isn't just pure action. Die Hard is. Like Top Gun's a great film, and I love it, but Die Hard beats it out. Yeah,
exactly. I love Die Hard.
Yeah, I see that completely. Die Hard's my vote as well.
I love Top Gun. I mean to say that it's a great movie, but I mean I think Die Hard. It's hard to put much past John McClane, like we mentioned before. So I mean I gotta go Die Hard.
Yeah, Die Hard.
Is it clean sweep in the semifinals? Clean sweep in the semifinals. Die Hard goes through to the finals.
All right.
I kind of thought that would be the way as well.
To see who goes up against John McClane in the finals, Arnie is doing it some one way or another. It's Predator against Terminator.
Okay, here's what I'll say.
Ooh.
I'm gonna. I don't know how you guys are gonna lean.
Might be the toughest one so far.
Yeah, it's the toughest one, but Predator to me has a lot more going on than like it has all the action film tropes, but there's a lot more going on there. How initially like it is a war film and like how the sneaky government guy is like trying to fool this government contractor, and then it turns into masculinity and like they think they're gonna shoot their way out of everything like very easily, and that's not how it ends up at all. It turns out that like Dutch has to think, like actually have to think tactically, and then that's how he makes it out and defeats the Predator. He can't defeat it by just punching his way out. He actually has to outthink the Predator in order to win. So like to me, there's just a lot more going on while still being a very great action film. So Predator would get my vote.
I think for me, I gotta go with
JD.
For me, I think I gotta go with Terminator. Actually, just because I feel like the first half of Predator is a little slower. I mean, it's not that much slower, but this is a really tough call for me, so that's why I'm really trying to nitpick here. But first half is a little slower, and I feel like you don't really get into the real like core, like the makes it what makes Predator awesome until it's just one-on-one Arnold versus the Predator versus Terminator. Like, it's just awesome from start to finish, action nonstop, and it's action nonstop for Predator 2. But I think I just enjoy what Terminator brings to the table, just slightly a little more.
See, I think
Perfect.
I push back at that one a little. I want to push back at that just a smidge. I do think Predator is not slow at all. Like, it does like have character moments, but so does Terminator. Like, Terminator stops here and there all the time to bring out more character beats with Sarah Connor and Kyle Reese. So I think they have the same kind of thing where it's action, story, action, story beat, action, story beat. And I think there's a far more intriguing story stuff going on there in Predator than Terminator. But that's all I'm going to say about that. I just wanted to push that back at that a little.
Well, I used to like Terminator 2 a little
what's your
better,
vote for there, Rob?
But over time,
I as I said before, Predator isn't my favorite movie at all, so I might vote goes for Terminator, definitely.
Terminator. Ted, I won't give you the torturous decision if you want to go one way or another.
I have my decision set anyway. I already have my decision set anyway, and I have my reason. So if yours is, you can do yours if you want, or I can possibly
go ahead. The floor.
Okay.
The floor is yours.
So for me, they're both in and around the same level of action. Predator takes a little bit longer to get into the action than Terminator. Terminator's a lot quicker to get to the action. Predator is a little slower getting into the action, but it does have just as much action in it. So for me, what broke the deadlock is, what's the reason behind each person? Terminator's reason: kill Sarah Connor to stop the revolution against the machines in the future. Done, dusted, easy. Predator's reasoning: something to do with skulls. Something. Because he keeps looking at the skulls and stroking them, and he then takes off his mask after looking at Arnie's skull. Why? I don't know. The film didn't tell me. That's it. He for some reason was looking at people's skulls, and they don't tell me why. And just because of that, because it is a very close one on both of these, because of Terminator being way better at just going, this is what it is, this is why he's there, that for me, it's Terminator.
Terminator goes through no matter my vote. I would have been down to you, the tiebreaker there, Ted. It would have been my vote to Predator, but
I can see in the comments that
through.
Well, I can see in the comments that some people are saying he does it hunting for sport.
Yeah, he's hunting for sport. It's trophies. It's 100%.
They say that, but then what's the whole thing about the skulls? What's the whole thing about him looking at skulls and taking Arnie's head, turning it sideways, and looking into his skull? What's all that about?
Well, because he's looking for Arnie. Like, he's looking for, like, Arnie, so, like, he's scanning
because he's fighting him. No, he's fighting him. He's already beaten the shit out of Arnie for the last while. So why does, when he has
because
Arnie...
it's the head, it's the trophy. The head is the trophy, so the skull is the trophy. So then you see that, like, they skin... Like, after they kill somebody, they skin him alive, and they take the head skull as the trophy. So that's what it is. It's all about trophies. The skull, the head, is the trophy.
But why did he take his mask off, then?
Because the mask, remember, he couldn't see remember the mask was broken?
No, because he could see right after that. He couldn't see before that because of all the mud on him. But once he had him, and he had him pinned up with the mask still on, then he took the mask off.
I think is that I remember, like, the scanner was broken, so he took the thing off. Somebody actually pointed a point, aberration, like he was admiring his new trophy. I think he's going to beat him. Like, you're stroking it like a trophy. Like,
yeah, but why not kill him? And why not
kill him?
Why not kill him? Because he checks his head, then takes the thing off his shoulder that he can shoot him with, and then starts fighting with hand-to-hand combat.
I think he was pretending he was dead, and I think if I remember it correctly.
No, he hasn't pinned up by the neck when he does that. He
Yeah,
hasn't pinned up against by the neck, and then he lets him down, takes off his rocket off his shoulder.
Again, it's admiration for his eventual trophy. I still think that's the
not to me.
Well,
he decides to fight him closer to be closer to what he is. He's doing away with all the machinery, all the gadgets. The exit, the oxygen, his air, whatever. He's getting rid of it all. He's going to have a hand-to-hand combat with Arnie. He's not going to rely on any of the other shit. That's what he's doing. It's for himself because it's
because sportsmanship. Because it's
sportsmanship with him. He's a predator. The whole thing is.
It's about masculinity.
In the second movie, like you see,
in a one-on-one
fight. This gun from the 15th century or whatever, it was a trophy. This is what they took. He wanted to beat him hand to hand. He finally came up against somebody.
Because remember, the whole theme is masculinity. So what's more masculine than
beating He came up against somebody that he felt that he could have a good fight about. So he got rid of all the shit. And he got in there hand to hand to have a good fight with Arnie.
Yeah.
I also think that it's also out of how much respect that he has for him,
and they also wanted to read the problem to take the mask off
in combat. He's the only one to be able to.
And I think it adds
so he says, "Well, I respect you enough to show you my true self. I'm not going to do this to anybody else because I have that much respect for you. Now let's just
it said
one-on-one, mano-a-mano, got all the extras. Yeah,
adds more character to this creature than I think the first Terminator does. The character of the Terminator really doesn't come into shape till Terminator 2, where you learn all they add these interesting character features to the Predator as it goes along, how he does things and how he, as I said, the sportsmanship and I feel like that adds interesting character, whereas Terminator, he's just more of a mindless machine.
See, I don't know. I think because you talk about sportsmanship and fairness, this is a guy who can go invisible and he kills multiple people while he's invisible.
Yeah, but
they don't know he's there. That's not sportsmanship.
But
he respects Arnold more because he's the only one that can.
Think about it this way too.
He is equal, one-on-one.
Yeah. Also, think about
Arnie found his way to go invisible against him. He that's why he admired him so much. Arnie was able to actually do what he was able to do without all the gadgetry.
Yeah. Also, again, it comes down to admiration. He was able to and also he was slowly taking away his weapons one by one. Think about it that way too. No other person in the film was able to do that. So it's I see what you did there. I like you. Let's make this more. Let's make this more fair. It's obviously we're on the same level. Let's go.
Yeah.
And also, Arnold was able to do the same thing. He was by covering himself in all the mud. That made him go invisible to the Predator. And the Predator,
that's what I'm saying. The point is
do the same thing he was essentially.
He appreciated his ingenuity So that's why he took it off, because he's this person was able to take me to the limit, and he reserves my respect.
My counterpoint to that one,
admiring the skull, you were looking at him going, "That's not a human skull."
Yeah, but my counterpoint to that is you say, "Oh, it's all about because he admired him," and that he was okay, this guy wants to do it one-on-one, one up. Billy stops on the bridge, takes off all his weaponry, and holds a knife. And we don't see him kill him, but unless he took all his gear off and then put it back on to chase Arnie.
My counterpoint to you is Billy didn't prove that that he was on his level. Dutch was able to prove that they were at the same level through ingenuity or other things, but he proved. So he again, it's about respect, and he didn't respect Billy because Billy, as I said, didn't do anything to show that he was worth his attention. See, that's again, it comes down to masculinity and being at the same level. And again, Dutch was the only one that proved it was on the same level. That's my counter argument to you.
is something that's masculine, is standing there taking off all your weaponry,
but
and
again,
just going for hand combat, which is what Billy does.
It's also
is that not very masculine?
That.
To me, there's a plot hole there.
It's obviously we're not going to again. To me, it's not a plot hole, but we can go into it more. But it's obviously we're not going to change your mind in the amount of time that we have. So it's best just to move on. But
we're moving. Terminator has gone through to the finals.
Yeah, but
as much as it hurts, it got the votes. So we now move on to the finals. We have Die Hard versus Terminator.
See, this is why it hurts me, because I feel like Die Hard's the clear winner here, and and I feel like Predator would have had a better shot at this.
I don't know.
I don't think. I think Die Hard was kind of. I think Die Hard is the better of the two here as well, and I think it was going to be the better of any of them, really.
I would have voted for Predator if it made it through. I'm going to be honest.
I think Terminator has more action than Die Hard has, but I still got to vote for Die Hard. It's just an overall way better film. It's a better villain, better hero, better everything. So.
That's
my favorite out of the whole list. My favorite was probably Aliens, to be honest, out of the whole list. But we whittled it down to these two. I think Die Hard would have been a different movie if the original, like it was originally cast with Frank Sinatra, would you believe?
Yeah, it was supposed to be Frank Sinatra.
Really? What?
Frank Sinatra, yeah. It was supposed to be a second movie. It was supposed to be a sequel to one of his old movies.
Yes.
Wow.
They completely changed the whole thing, changed the character, and
thank goodness.
It became what it is.
It was
it would have been a completely different film. But Terminator, it's pretty simple. As Ted said, it's a pretty simple movie. It's got, but it is a roller coaster ride from the beginning.
Yep.
It's very actiony. It's complete edge of the seat type thing. But I think Die Hard has to be the clear winner, really.
I would say though, if this was any other Die Hard movie, if this was like any of them, I think Terminator would win. But
yeah, I would agree. I think any other Die Hard against Terminator gets beaten.
Yeah, without a doubt, yeah.
It's the original Die Hard.
Die Hard 3 was pretty fucking good. I really enjoyed Sam, and that was great. Sam Jackson was brilliant.
Yeah, I enjoyed the other Die Hards, but I think if they went up against Terminator, they'd lose. But I think the original Die Hard versus the original Terminator, I think Die Hard is the better overall.
Yeah. If it was Terminator 2, then it might be a different thing.
Agree.
But Die Hard for me.
Yeah, it's Die Hard. I would have loved to see
Die Hard.
Yeah.
Die Hard.
Die Hard is the ultimate 80s action movie. We have decided it. It's taking just over 2 hours, but we have whittled it down from 32 films to 1. Die Hard is the ultimate 80s action film. What a ride it was. John McClane stands on top. He's defeated Hans Gruber. He's defeated everybody else. And there's nobody trying to shoot him now afterwards.
Yeah.
What happened to Bruce Willis after the Die Hard movies? He just doesn't care. He phones it in. He doesn't care anymore.
I
don't get it. Like, what happened to him?
There was a period.
What other action movies have you done that are any good, or even any type of movie? Not much.
I disagree.
Hold on, he made some great movies.
Pulp Fiction.
The 12 Monkeys, fucking brilliant. One of his best.
I would agree with that.
Looper even Looper is amazing. And that's more recent. Like,
so he has a few, but they're few and far between. Is kind of what I'm getting at.
it definitely is few and far between, but like
very true.
The reason I think he phones it in because he wants to be taken as more serious besides an action star, but that's the only roles he can really get. So like he basically just doesn't care. But when he gets like a piece of material that interests him, then and it's also the fact that he's notoriously known to be hard to work with. So also no one really wants to work with him with those serious movies.
I would agree. I've actually
very true. Anyway, we'll finish up the show here now. So I'm gonna ask everyone to hear. We're gonna go around the board. If you have anything come up, let us know where we can find you.
Are we starting with
JD?
me? Okay. All right.
Yeah, go
So
on.
you can find me on Twitter at JD Domash. The J and 2Ds are capital. Me and Carl are actually going to be into fan leagues as a team at some point. We're still waiting on more information when it comes to that. That's for the Schmodown fan leagues. You can also find me semi-regularly on Jordan's Movie Hero channel with movie tier ranker fights.
Yep.
Other than that, I was on Schmo Dates Wednesday night, so you can see me on there, and you can find me a bunch of other places.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw you on Schmo Bates. I saw you arguing for Red, is what it was?
No, that was General Debates.
Okay.
Schmo Bates, I was debating, everybody was talking about Screw the Boss as a team with Mark O'Reilly and Alonzo Duralde. That was their team.
Oh, nice.
That I came up with.
Right.
And Jordan.
So you can find me, like JD said, I have my own channel called Movie Hero. We do all kinds of different movies. So we got a series called Tier Ranker Fights, where right now we're going to be doing part 3, believe it or not, of the best and worst movie remakes and reboots. And then I also have blind spots that I mentioned a little bit on the show, where I just have people vote on which movies I should watch from my blind spots and movies, a list of movies I haven't seen. They're just I just throw a bunch of movies I haven't seen at random, and whatever the people vote for, I'll watch that movie. We just really started a series where we're doing reviews of Saturday Night Live and ranking all the cast of that, and all the polls you can find. So I run a group over on Facebook called Schmodown Friends and Family. So we definitely support the Schmodown big time, but then also it's a place where anyone who has any kind of project that they're working on or any kind of YouTube channel, you can self-promote there. That's actually the main purpose of it. So we definitely support you, and we'll lift you up. I always try to somebody posts there. I always try to share it on my personal page as well, just to kind of support them a little bit there. So those are the main places you can find me.
Perfect. And Ted, yourself?
Myself, you can find me on Facebook at Retrotainment, Twitter at Retrotainment1, or since I'm part of a network called Dynamo's Podcast Network, which has loads of different shows on it: wrestling, football, American football, obviously Retrotainment itself, interview style ones, boxing ones, just music, everything. So you can find us there as well, which is at Dynamo Podcast Network on Facebook. So yeah, just find us there, and everything from there you'll find easy enough.
Perfect. Rob, do you have anything to promote?
I don't really, but if any of you guys fancy an older guy coming on any of your shows, ask Carl for my email address. I'd be really delighted to do it. It's great fun. Nice to meet you all.
Yeah, there's always an open invitation on a lot of my shows.
And
so I'll probably reach out.
Perfect. And I'm going to finish the show off here. This was a great first show that I've had here for the Sherlock Reel. You can follow me on Twitter at @Carlock. Next week, we'll be doing another one of these lists. This time is going to be romantic or rom-com films in aid of Valentine's Day, the day after. So we're going to be continuing. We're going to be trying to find out which one will win out there. And you can just subscribe to this channel. You'll see a lot more happening on this channel. Movie reviews and all that will come soon. Perfect. So that's the end of this show here. We have Die Hard as the ultimate 80s action film. Thanks everyone for joining.
Take care.